Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is LolaAjisafe here. Now, this is something new. Came across it. It's a new Netflix series. Anyway, they're just on season 1 and it fit in line. Like if I had a brand, I feel that this would be in line with it. Yeah, we talk about different principles, but this is just talking about, without any further ado, we're going to be talking about young, rich, and African. Y'all know I'm from Nigeria. I'm proud that I'm from Nigeria. I know many Nigerians that aren't proud of being Nigerian. But what I liked about this show, which is why I want to kind of touch on it, is because a lot of the time, I feel a lot of the pictures and the words that come, about African countries is never, it doesn't show, it shows one side. You see people, and particularly at night, let's feed the hungry, let's do this, give 20 cents for this hungry kid, do this, you hear about corruption, you hear about all these different things, but they're like human beings. The continent of Africa is multifaceted. You have, lots of smart, beautiful people. You have poor people, but you also have wealth people, and you have people in the middle. There's so many things about the continent that don't come up. So not to say that this gives you a balanced picture, but it's a start. It's a start because there's some positive angles I saw on the show, and I thought, you know what? Let's talk about this show. So anyway, before we begin, housekeeping rules, don't forget to like the video. Second of all, I want to hear what you all think. Those of y'all who might be from an African country and know about the show or know about what they're talking about, what you think about what I say, stuff like that. And of course, if you haven't subscribed, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. So let's start. So like I said, I picked this show because it's from the continent where I'm from. I'm from Nigeria. This show was filmed in Johannesburg, which is in South Africa, and they focused it around 4 or 5 characters who are well known in the media in different African countries. So there's 2 or 3 of the characters are from Tanzania. No, 1 person's from Tanzania. 2 or 3 people are from South Africa. You have 2 characters who are from three people from Nigeria. So we've got some representation from the mother, from my home country. So, but that's not just the reason why. As you can see, it's had to put on my let me stop playing with y'all. So anyway, first thing first, opens up. The first character on the scene is a lady, Miss KhanyiMbau. Now I don't know her well because I don't know much about South African programming, but I know she's an actress, has done soap operas. Of course, when you're an actor, you do hosting. So she's well known to the South African scene. In addition to that, of course, she's well known by her romantic liaison. So her only child, who's a 15-year-old daughter, she had with a gentleman who was, I believe, questionably older than her, and also had some scandal about how he got his money. Now she's currently dating someone who's younger than her and who's also wealthy, but has some question about how he got his money. But I think they opened the scene with this lady because she may not be your cup of tea, but when I say, be wrong and strong, like even if she's wrong, she's strong. She's standing 10 toes down. She believes what she's doing. And you can't, in my opinion, you can't but love that. So we're talking about Miss KhanyiMbau. So what does she say? The word is like when the bloggers or when the trolls are trolling her, they call her gold digger. It is what it is. People calling her gold digger are probably people, having peanut butter jelly sandwiches. The first scene that I thought was elaborate and just, was a lovely introduction into Johannesburg was how, I don't think they do that every day, was how they woke up. She said that, the sound of an alarm would be so jarring. So someone comes into her room to play the piano. She waking up to piano keys. I was like, you know what? I know this doesn't happen in real life, but sis, I'm not mad at you for putting that narrative out there. Like, yeah, we know how to live, right? So yeah, so it comes into that. She breaks that down. She kind of tells us who she is. She breaks down, like I said, I already told you the dynamic between her and she's older than, so it's not really cougar. I mean, there's 7 years between her and her love interest right now. I'm not going to call her cougar status. To me, cougar, she's older than him. You can start talking about cougar when you're talking about 10 plus years. Like, she's still under 10, so she's not really a cougar. And there's something she says that I thought was really cute. Like, she believes their man is here to protect and he meant to serve. And she broke it down like he meant protect her from using her credit card when she's trying to make a purchase. And then when he meant to serve her, he's meant to serve her by coming around and serving her with the bag of goods that he purchased for her. You cannot but she might be a little different from what you're used to and what you even are, but I can't but love the way she stands. Like, she's, the thing is, one thing to do things a certain way, but to stand confident in what you're doing. She believes in what she's doing and she's going to go by it. She's living life on her own terms. these are little examples. Living life on her own terms. She may not be a cup of tea, but sis is doing it her way. Both of her love interests, the current one and the past one, both had scandals related to some questionable as to how they got their money. And she's like, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm attracting these men. Maybe I'm a gangster chick. She makes no apology for it. Like, she's like, yeah, so what? So the men that came to me have some questions about how they made their wealth. So what next? You're questioning her living on a straw mattress. She chilling on 2,000 count sheets. The next two people they introduce are Annie Dibia and Swanky Jerry. All right, so let's start with Annie Dibia. We know that I know of her. She's an actress. I watch a lot of Nigerian movies. I've seen her in movies, but I guess probably in her benefit, I'm going to say I've seen movies first. But a lot of people, more importantly, they'll know that she's married to a very popular, well-known, well-respected Nigerian music artist, Twoface Dibia. In a sense, name as well. Everyone calls him Two-Face, or they call him Innocent. So she and Innocent, they met in their teens. They were really young and they started dating then. And then of course she explains how, literally it felt like overnight he blew up and exploded. But because of that, because his career broke off before hers did, so they were both in the arts, she really had to put her stuff onto the side and really be in the background. And so I feel the purpose for her doing this show now is like, she feels like, yo, it's my time. I feel that's the reason why she's doing this show, so she can put out her narrative based on her terms as, Annie Dibia, not as Two-Face's wife. And and this is something I've noticed in the past too, when I used to see her, is like anytime she talks about him, like she's always giddy. Like they've been together for a long time. I want to say they've been together for 19 years, married for 10. In all that time, the passion and love she has for that man, through thick and thin, does not seem to have decreased. Like, I don't think anyone, if they can say anything, one thing they will say is that this woman loves this man, and she loved him before he had anything. So I guess it makes it extra special that she, through thick and thin, she's loved this man and will continue to love this man, as we'll continue to see. I hope for their sake that will be the case. Now talking about Jerry, Swanky Jerry, well-known stylist in Lagos. He has a very theatrical flair. So if you like to dress with in theatrics, Swanky Jerry is the man for you. He's the one. There's something I don't know. So when I grew up in Nigeria, or when I was living in Nigeria, I didn't particularly grow, but when I was living there, personalities like this, like Jerry, were not at the forefront. I think it's come up more now so, but back in the day, like, see Swanky Jerry's got his fingernails painted in black. He just there's something about his energy that I like, that I think is fun and interesting to watch. Like he makes good TV. I'm not sure if I don't know how he styles his clients, but if Annie is one of the people who's styling, one thing they came with were fashions. Both in her confessionals and stepping just for filming regular scenes. She came with the fashions. Now, I don't know if it's something I'd wear every day, but TV is not every day, it's TV. So, by all intents and purposes, Swanky Jerry looked like he knew how to put some colors together and some stuff. If you have the flair for just being out there, then he'll get your fashions together. Landed him from Nigeria, and that's when they started filming. And so they know they're filming in South Africa, so she's down here for the filming. So they come in together, fly in, and they get talking. And she's a little concerned initially, because I think she was saying in the car, they had a little exchange. They're talking in the car, talking about money, they're introducing themselves. She's got Gucci shades on, and of course, as we will see, Swanky Jerry, he better have some kind of deal with Gucci, because like he laced in Gucci all day. But anyway, they come in talking about things, and so they get to wherever they're staying, the apartment, and she's making this talk of how some of the South African women she's met in the past seem to be a little catty or bitchy, whichever word you want to use. Let's use catty. Seem a little catty, so she's a little nervous. Of course, Jerry reassures her, sis, don't worry, I got you. And so he says, you know what, I want you to meet up with a good friend of mine, the next character who we'll talk about in a minute, who's going to be Nadia. Nadia, I don't know her personally, but I guess she first broke into the South African scene as a rap artist. Now it looks like Nadia either has lived or goes back and forth between South Africa and the States, because she currently has a boyfriend who is who's American but of Ghanaian descent. So anyway, so no, she's meant to be meeting up with Nadia, and you know, she's a little nervous. So what they do now, right, they pick up the phone to, you know, he wants to Google Nadia so she can kind of see pictures of the lady, get to know her, stuff like that. And he pick up her phone, and first thing you see is that sis been googling her husband. So the first Google search was for Twoface Dibia. I thought that was funny, that was cute. She says she was just checking to see what he was doing. I don't know what she was looking for, but she was looking for something. So anyway, they go further on. She kind of break down her home life. So she has 2 daughters. One daughter who is Isabel, 12, and another daughter who is Olivia, who is 7. And she tells us, you know, that Olivia, the younger one, who's 7, has Blount's disease. Now Blount's disease is aka bow legs. Like when you see children, and I think you see that everywhere, but if those of you are not familiar with certain things, you'll see children with their legs, particularly from their knees down to their ankles, bowed outwards. That's Blount's disease or bow legs. And a lot of time there is corrective surgery you can do for children that are younger. I'm not sure if you'll correct it in adults. So that's what she's saying, that her daughter had been through, I think, about 6 surgeries to straighten out their legs for her. And so, you know, she was saying that her daughter hadn't had time to have any kind of, you know, she was just kind of telling us, you know, the kind of things, trials and tribulations she's been through. So there's one thing you'll see on the outer face, her in her glamorous fashions and her makeup, you know, hanging out with her husband, meeting popular people, living a certain lifestyle. But behind all of that is the pain of running a household, you know, her daughter being sick, her also trying to work, and also living, part of the pain that we see is her living in her husband's shadow. So she also wants to be recognized for who she is. She kind of lists, you know, the number of movies she's done, series she's done, but she's still always referred to as Two-Face's wife. And that is the plight of a woman who's married to a successful man. And if you have ambition to want to do something with that, you will feel that pain. So she gives us insight into that, you know, just, you know, the other perspective. Yes, everyone's probably jealous of her. They wish they were her, you know, they wish they were living in the same situation, but she's trying to break down that, yeah, I'm appreciative. I love my husband. I know he does all these things, but I also have dreams, and I've put them, you know, on the back burner for so long. But it looks like this series is a way for her to possibly change things, not necessarily be more popular than him, but be recognized in her own right, recognized for her own work. And I think that is a universal thing that you'll see women, you know, it's like, you want to be recognized for what you've done. If you're a working woman, you want to be recognized for the work of your hands. I remember a long time ago, someone referred to me as, oh, this was my ex. She was like, oh, you're blah blah blah's girlfriend. I'm like, nice to meet you. My name is. and not that I was offended, but I didn't think my name was blah blah blah's girlfriend. I thought, this is my name, hey. But he clocked it. He was like, okay, how you doing? How you smiled. So yeah, and that wasn't even about work. That was just someone meeting me, and that's how you were referring to me. So I understand the plight. There was a conversation I took of note that she was having with her daughter while they were at the apartment. So she's telling everyone, she's calling home, letting them know that, oh, I'm home safely. How you guys doing? And then that's what struck me was her younger daughter, Olivia, who she was talking to, was like, you know, Mom, how you doing? Her mom's making sure that, you know, she's doing okay after the surgery she's had. And then just out of the blue, the girl asked her, Mom, are you happy there? I just thought that's so sweet. Like, you know, children are they're very clued into what's going on with you. They know what's going on, and I think she knows that her mother's been through a lot. She knows that her mother, you know, she's probably seen her mother sad a lot of times. And so her first question is, Mom, are you happy there? And then that's almost like a key or a register for, you know, Annie to realize that. And that's it. Children are watching us. Children watch what we do, not necessarily what we say. And so, you know, Olivia, her daughter, has seen her mother go through some pain. And the first thing when she's not seeing her mother, she wants to make sure her mother is fine. And so now she's cognizant that I probably have to really, not necessarily pretend for her daughter, but put a better face forward so her daughter's not always worried about her. And she's not trying to reassure her. So going into the next scene, we're back with Kanye. You know, Kanye, she decided, you know, I think they call her another, she's also known aka the Bling Queen. Yeah. We'll see as the episodes go why she's the Bling Queen, but she's the Bling Queen apparently. And so she decides she wants to throw, I guess she lives a life of luxury. So she's throwing together a ball for her friends to meet each other. You know, I don't know which friends, if it's all the friends, some of the friends, we don't know. But anyway, my sis, she pull up in the yellow Porsche. I like that. Like, I'm just liking that. Like, yo, yes, yeah, for those who may not be aware, there is a lot of wealth in what the so-called, you know, third world countries next to Western countries. But I think a lot of people now have replaced third world with developing nations. So that's called, so now, so comparing, so now she pull up in a yellow Porsche to the venue. The only thing, you know, she's recounting, because, you know, the confessionals are on point. Like, these people throwing some out. Like, I see the other shows, but I don't know, maybe it's just me noticing, like, the fashions they're wearing, they're not playing with y'all. Like, y'all can play with yourself, but they're not playing with themselves. So there's a confessional that Kanye has. And of note, it's like, I'm looking like the wig game here was weak. Yeah, Kanye is going up to see the venue for the ball, some old hall. So we're meeting Nadia. I believe it's Nadia and Akai. So going on after this, you know, making sure the venue is straight for the ball, Kanye goes to pick up another personality, Diamond Platinum. Tanzania, well-known artist. I feel like he's like the gem of East Africa, like in terms of music. I know, I love his songs. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna go pay attention and play like a tune or two. But no, I don't. I still know Davido. I know, you know, was a Wizkid. I know Burna Boy. I know Naira Marley. You know, I know my people from Nigeria. So Diamond Platinum, like he's got a good following. He's got like 14 milli. So Bry's doing something. There's some clips of him. You know, he's sitting down with Snoop, sitting down with Akon. At least the pictures on his IG. So he definitely has a following. Definitely is a celebrity. You know, definitely a catch for the show. So he, you know, she comes to pick him up in now a red Porsche, and she's picking him up. She's coming up to the coming up to, it's a private PJ. She picks him up at his PJ as the steps come down. So she's picking him up on the runway, on the jetway. So we have a scene where Nadia meets. I say it's Nadia and Akai. So she introduces herself as a businesswoman as well as a rap artist. Comes from a family of entrepreneurs. She says from a family of strong women. Let me use the term. I think she used the term strong woman, and she wants to be considered a Pan-African artist. So that she just doesn't want to be considered, oh, she's a South African artist, Pan-African. So, and hopefully a crossover. Hopefully this, and I think that's another purpose for her doing this show, is possibly to crossover. So you know, not just the local audience will be familiar with her, you'll be able to be familiar with her too. Like the way you know Davido, most of y'all know Davido, most of you all know Wizkid, most of you all know Burna Boy. I don't know if a lot of you know Naira Marley, but just as these artists are coming up, so she just wants to be better recognized. But you know, she meets Annie. And I guess they don't hit it off right off. I'm not sure what she's saying. She says she feels like what she sees is not what you get. And then she throws some shade about my boy Twoface. She talked about, yeah, Twoface, you know, her mom is familiar with Twoface, that was she trying to call him dated? Sis, don't do that. Don't do that. And to quickly update you on the rest of the personalities on the show before we get to one of the main scenes. We have another, another character called Naked DJ, otherwise known as Quentin, apparently a well-known DJ in that area. He's introduced with his girlfriend called Kaylee, a vanilla sister, and I believe they're girlfriend and boyfriend, but they're not necessarily living, but she spends a lot of her time there, and at this point it looks like their relationship kind of rocky. Let's see how it goes. Andali Nkubi, now he's also from South Africa. From what I understand, his background, he is a sports presenter, I'm told. I can investigate for y'all, but I'm told he's a sports presenter. But I like his packaging. I like the way he speaks. I like the way he thinks. I like the way he's put together. He's a well put together brother. Like, he looks solid at this point in time. The ball. This is meant to be like the jewel of the whole episode. The ball is, you know, like it was hosted in this, you know, colonial, this colonial building that I know Nadia was saying, like, look, like, you know, the colonizers, they own this. So this colonial looking building. Not impressive. What I thought was, you know, they're showing how different people come out. You know, my girl, you know, Bling Queen comes out now. She's coming out with Black Lambo. Jerry and Annie at the venue, and they're both not impressed with the venue. They're like, I thought she was the Bling Queen. Like, you know, they have both different ways they threw shade on the venue. They weren't very impressed, and it's just a Niger thing. Like, I can't tell you, like, that's just sometimes we just been doing too much. Like, we just nothing good to say. Like, we don't always follow the thing, like, if you've got nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all. Sometimes we'll just say what we want to say. I remember coming up, and I went to undergrad in Temple, and the African Students Union, the Nigerians there, like, that's just how we were. That's how we do. That's how we be. Just out there. Always want to have an opinion and have something to say. Kanye wants to put Nadia and Diamond together, even though she knows that, you know, Nadia supposedly is in a relationship with this boyfriend of hers who lives in the States, and even Diamond, she knows, is a well-known cemented womanizer. He had a well-recognized relationship with a lady called Zari. She calls herself Zari, the boss lady, who has 2 kids for Diamond, and even now I think she calls her children like the Prince and Princess of Africa. I don't know, because this guy he definitely is very well known. So a few things they discuss at the table of mention. So they start, everyone's going down one by one. They've established Diamond as a player, asking him how many kids he has. Like, he gets to the point where he said maybe 4, maybe 6. And I think I've said this before. Like, sometimes when people ask me, I say, yeah, man, how many siblings do you have? I'll be like 12 the last time I counted. Okay, I don't know, somebody might roll up tomorrow and talk about we related. Probably not going to accept it, but like, I joke about that. So his joke was almost like that, 4, maybe 6, because what he kind of broke down later on was a little possibility that he had had an affair with a lady who has a kid or 2, but won't confirm if the children are his or not. And then they go talking about, like, so I think someone asked Kanye, oh, you have children? She's like, no, I have a daughter. Kanye had a 15-year-old daughter who lives in an apartment by herself, next to her mother's apartment, but an apartment by herself. And the way Kanye, her parenting style is that her child has no restrictions, none at all. Like, she said if she wants to do something, she's going to let her try it. And 2 things. One, yeah, I'm not of the school of thought. I believe I have different rules, different school of thought. I don't believe in that. Like, for children's minds are not formed or well developed, but there's a certain amount of space I give you to. I'm not a helicopter parent. I do give you the freedom to, to find your wing. But what I'm not going to do is put you in an apartment by yourself. What I'm not going to do is tell you that you have no boundaries. Yeah, you have boundaries. Like, what I don't want you to do is hoop, girls gone wild. That's not what you're going to do on my watch. So yeah, so on that strength I disagree, but what I can respect about Kanye's position, because she wrong and scrung 10 toes down, but she believes it. And she said something of note, like how her kid's gonna end up being a minister, while those of you all saying the opposite, your children are gonna be wilding out. There's some truth to it, but not in that regard. In the regard where if you're too restrictive on children, yes, they can try and do the opposite, but at the same time, you don't leave them to run mad and do girls gone wild. So you have her in a separate apartment. Yes, the apartment next to you. Yes, it looks like they have a good relationship, but I probably won't be out there. So, but of course, Annie being Nigerian, in Nigerian culture, like, we strict. Like, less so now as the years have gone by, but still there's certain things we don't do. Like, what you're not going to do is have some freedom. What you're not going to do is call me by my first name. Understandably so, cultures are different too. From what I understand, their culture in South Africa is less restrictive. So that also plays a part too, whereas in West Africa, although it's changing now, it's changing. I wouldn't say it's changing. It's not things weren't as restrictive as they were before. Because for me, growing up, my father was a unicorn. Like, I wouldn't say we were allowed to do anything, but we had space, we had room to do things, to learn. Like, my father wasn't locking gates talking about you can't go out. As long as we came back before it was light, we were good. But other people, like, they were locked up in their rooms. So things were different. So I can just appreciate how Kanye, even though I might disagree with her on some things, like, she's convicted in her position, and that's admirable, because a lot of people didn't agree with how she was talking or describing her parenting. So during this conversation, of course, Andali noticed that Annie had similar thoughts as he did. So he just wanted to go off and talk with her, tell her, oh, I knew your husband. And they talked about this song that I think this is a well-known song that Twoface has, My African Queen. I'm not gonna hum it for you because I'm not gonna do it. African Queen. So she was telling him how she was the African Queen. She had this gold, or is it diamond pendant on her with the African. She's like, really, anytime she's talking about Twoface, she's really excited and gushing, which is good for now. And so she breaks down how they met, and then starts talking about when he became successful, that's when the trouble started. And then here she launches into further break down their relationship. As they're talking, Kanye comes and sees them talking and now plops herself in between them. So, what you guys talking about? I wonder if she was wondering if they're talking about her parenting style, but no, Andili, the gentleman, says, I know we're actually talking about the trials and tribulations that Annie has gone through in her marriage. And she's like, ooh, what? And then she goes to break in that, okay, as soon as Twoface became, or Innocent, her husband, became successful, the womanizing really went to another level. And it got to a point where he has 5 kids with other women, right? But 4 of these kids were conceived before she gave birth once. I'm going to repeat myself. Her husband has 5 kids with other women while they were dating, to a point where her kid, she has 2 children with her husband. Her first kid is Twoface's 5th kid. So 4 kids from other women were born before she gave birth to her first. And she and Twoface have been dating since their teens. So that's the extent of the cheating that occurred. And I believe she's been through hell and back, because both for the pain and the humiliation she's experienced, in addition to the public embarrassment and the public judgment. Because for some reason, the guy himself never gets judged, but the woman receives like the scorn, like she's the cause of her husband cheating. So if you think, remember when they were the dress, did you know, with the Hillary and Bill Clinton? It really feels and looks like, even particularly when Hillary was running for president, like Bill's indiscretions were held against her. Like, yo, what does that mean? Like, why in the world do we do that? And it's not necessarily the men doing it, it's the women doing this. Like, literally using that to judge her. And so I can't imagine what she's been through. All the things she's been put through and experienced, and had to hide, to hold her face up, pretend like everything is fine because of the actions of her husband. And so she breaks this down. Initially that time I was like, why is she like, this is like first episode, like, sis, you quick to, like, you just met these people, you're quick to drop it. But on the other hand, I realized I haven't been living in Nigeria for a while, but what she's saying is common knowledge. Everyone knows this. And there's some who says this, I don't know what my people say, I want to know if it was Q who says this, is like, don't let another person, I'm changing the words out, don't let another person, spray you with your own tea. So she's not gonna let them spray her with her own tea. So immediately she's letting out, like, okay, well, this is what goes on. So okay, now you know what now. Because what you're not gonna do is come in the second episode and try and spill me with my tea, because I just let it drop. Like, what now? How you like me now? So it makes sense. I believe that's why. But meanwhile, on the other hand, Kanye's talk about, she seems delighted, like, oh, I've got her weakness. Like, Kanye is hard to play sometimes. Like, sometimes I'm like, yo, I love the way that she's wrong and strong, like she's convicted. But other times, I don't know if she's trying to play a role to be interesting for the sake of reality TV. She's like strumming up her fingers, like, okay, now I know her weakness. So they kind of cap up this episode, and they have like a Moet champagne, fountain. And she calls they call it, having the tears of Caesar enjoying himself, because he not having regular tears, his tears are Moet champagne. Like, okay, all right, so just cap it off. They have a little song and dance. Diamond, the platinum artist, he dedicates a performance of his there in the ball to Nadia to get her attention, and that's how that gets things kicking. But I think most successful womanizers are very good judges of character. They're able to read body language and read women. That's their job. So other than singing, his second job, or probably his more important job, is women. So he understands how they think. Like, he was breaking it down. He was talking about the slay queens. Like, he has studied his prey. Exactly. You know how lions, they have a big appetite, and in order to get their prey, they have to understand their prey. So he understands his prey. So in his world, he's still a predator. Whereas, in the Western world, men are not predators anymore. The women are the predators. But anyway, so he understands how they think, how they operate. And based on how she says certain things, it's like, yeah, she left the door open. She's 50-50 for me. Because I think he had asked, are you dating someone at one time? And she'd said, well, I am, but... And that but was like, why is she saying that? But he lives in America. Sis, are you dating someone? Yes or no? It's not, I am, but... So he's like, yeah, she wants me. So yeah, being a womanizer requires a certain skill set. So let's see how this goes. So anyway, guys, this is the first episode capped in it's starting off like in very beautiful colors. The scenery, cinematography, I really like. You can really see like the outset of the this country. But more importantly, I definitely want to kind of delve into see what more they have to offer. I'm going to be reviewing the second episode by the end of the week, Friday, Saturday, and I should have a guest with me, and we're going to break it down together, just to give some contrast, some perspective, some context. So this is what we're going to do. I'll probably be reviewing at least 2 or 3 episodes a week. We'll drop them, 7 episodes. Let's see how this goes, and hopefully we'll get another season. So guys, thanks for watching. This is LolaAjisafe, over and out.